What's up guys, Cars with Lars here. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, I got a fun one. We're gonna talk about the #1 modification you can make to your sports car to massively improve it in two ways. Number one, your interior is going to massively change for the better. Obviously, the exterior of a sports car or a desirable vehicle is super important. You want that thing to look nasty when you're coming down the street. But the reality is, where are you spending all of your time when you're actually driving it? You're on the inside, so you shouldn't neglect your interior. And this mod is gonna do the opposite of that. It's going to change the way that you perceive the inside cockpit of your sports car. The second thing it's gonna do is it's going to change the driving dynamic of the vehicle. You're gonna be in more control, and you're going to be able to focus on the driving without worrying about flopping all over the place. Now, if you guys aren't able to tell from the title or the thumbnail, the modification I'm talking about is a quality set of sport bucket seats. More specifically, what I went with, Recaro Pole Positions. Now, if you guys have watched the channel before, you might recognize this E30. If you're new, well, welcome. This is my 1988 BMW E30 325IS, and this is the car that I installed the Recaros in. I've done all the necessary basic mods to make this thing better: exhaust, suspension, I refreshed all the bushings, put an ECU tune in it, but nothing even comes remotely close to the way the seats change the driving experience, and I want to tell you guys all about that. So I came prepared. I even have some stuff written down, and I intend to get through all of it today. So, let's hop in the driver's seat. The Recaro driver's seat, that is. Super easy to get into and really comfortable too. Now, first, I think it's important I tell you guys why I got these seats, and that's a two-part answer. The first reason is, well, let me start here. If you're familiar with E30s, you know there's two seat options that came in these cars. One of them was a comfort style, and the second one was a sport style bucket seat. Even though this was a sport package car that had the bucket seats, when I would drive this car on a back road, I noticed that my bigger frame was getting flopped all around. So if you're someone who drives enthusiastically, let alone someone who's driving on the track, a pair of bucket seats like this is going to massively change the driving experience and how you're able to control the car. So that's why I chose to get bucket seats, but why did I choose Recaro Pole Positions? Well, Recaro isn't just an aftermarket brand. It's a name that has been trusted by manufacturers in some of the best racing cars in the world for decades. And I'm gonna put some pictures on the screen of some legendary cars that have had Recaro buckets in them from the factory. These seats have been developed and proven in real motorsports. And when Porsche, Mercedes, or BMW M puts them in a $150,000 car, it's not for show. It's because they need a seat that's going to hold you in place, keep you safe, and do all this while shaving weight. Speaking of shaving weight, I saved 60 pounds with these. The stock seats weighed 50 pounds apiece, which is pretty wild considering they're 100% manual and they have no power functions. The Recaros, on the other hand, come in at just 16 pounds. Without a driver, the E30 weighs right around 2,700 pounds, and in a car this light, 60 pounds is a pretty significant weight loss. And ultimately, that's why I went with Recaro. There's a whole laundry list of legendary cars that support the claim that they are the best racing/sports seat on the whole market. Think about it like this. When you sit in Recaro Pole Positions, regardless of what car it's in, you are sitting in the same driving position and have the same vibe as some $1,000,000+ cars. Now, another reason why I chose these seats was ultimately my vanity. Yes, I absolutely freaking love the way that these look in the interior. Now, I'm gonna put a picture of my old interior on the screen. I had the full cardinal red setup. Cardinal carpets, cardinal door cards, seats, the whole nine. Even the rear deck lid where the speakers are is cardinal red. But those seats were getting worn out, and the quotes to reupholster them were multiple thousands of dollars, way more than these costs, so I decided to pull the trigger on them, and the way that it changes the look of the interior is magnificent. Now, I will say, I think the E30 has one of the best interiors pretty much of the last 50 years. It's driver-focused, it's simple, it's petite, the controls are faced towards the driver. I love the single hump on the dashboard. People still covet that today in the newer BMW M3s like the E90 and the E92. But something about these seats just turned it up to 11. And another cool thing I absolutely love about these seats, and I didn't even know this until I got them, but when you're driving behind someone and they look in the rear view mirror, what they see is two big Recaro emblems right in the front windshield. You can't miss it. So when you pull up behind someone, if they're into cars, they kind of know this guy means business and he has some freaking sweet pole positions in that thing. Street cred. Another thing I think is worth talking about is the installation process. Now, if you're someone who does work on your own car, even if it's just your own oil changes, I don't think you're gonna have any trouble with this at all. It's pretty straightforward, especially if you're just bolting them directly into the chassis. Let me show you what I did. Now, there are two different ways you can set these seats up. This applies to most vehicles, but this is how it was in my E30. Lucky for you guys, I have an example of both here, one on the driver's and one on the passenger side. Now, one of the ways you can do this is by directly bolting the seats into the OEM holes where the factory sliders went. The benefit of directly bolting this seat to the ground is that you're actually going to gain some headroom. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but this driver's seat is like 3 or 4 inches lower in the car, the passenger seat is, and that's because this passenger seat is still on the factory sliders. Now, obviously the benefit of this is you can get comfortable. If multiple people are driving the car, they're gonna want some adjustment, and you can slide the seat forward so you have access to that little cubby back there if you wanna use that as storage. Also, one of the benefits of directly bolting it into the car is when someone asks if they can drive the vehicle, like one of your friends, you can say, look, dude, I'd love you to, but the way the seat's set up, I don't know if you're gonna be able to reach the clutch. And that's the end of the conversation right there. But if you're going for the ultimate driver's feel, you might wanna just get the directly bolted in. If you're not worried about anyone else driving your car, or if this is just a weekend vehicle or a track car, when you have it bolted into the floor, I mean, you are so low in the car. I can't even explain to you. Your butt is right here at the bottom, right? I mean, you are literally just a few inches from the ground. So you have a very, very low center of gravity, and it gives you a feeling like you're in a go-kart because your ass is literally just a few inches from the pavement. But there are two different ways you can do this. The installation is super easy. You install this black bracket first, and then you can install the seats onto that as well. There's a couple different ways you can do that. There's no particular order. And then the other one is just installing the aftermarket brackets onto the OEM sliders, put the OEM sliders back on, and you're good to go. Okay, so I've talked about how cool these seats are gonna make your interior, but obviously when you're spending a couple grand on a set of seats like this, you want more than just visual aesthetic, right? You're buying these also because it's gonna change the driving experience, and it absolutely does. I live in New England, so we actually have a lot of nice curvy roads around here, especially in the back country. And when I'm going around corners, what I notice now is I am free to focus on the road. What I mean by that is with the stock seats, a couple things would happen. I was holding all my energy with the steering wheel, right? I would be flopping around left and right, and because of that, I would need to hold on to the steering column to kind of keep my body in place. Same thing with the dead pedal. Going around corners in the stock seats, I would stand on that dead pedal to kind of keep my body braced. With these seats, you're totally locked into the actual chassis of the car, and you don't need to worry about holding on anymore. Another thing you'll notice with the Recaro seats, especially if you guys decide not to use the factory sliders like I did on the driver's side, that instead of feeling like you're sitting on top of the car, you're sitting down in the car. A lot of these stock seats, just because they have all the adjustability, you kind of end up feeling like you're sitting upright, looking down onto the road. And that's fine for a normal daily car like an SUV or a truck. But when you're in a sports car, you want it to be as close to a go-kart or even like an F1 car as you can. The closer you are to the road, the more feel and control you're gonna have, at least through your perception. So the driving experience is changed because you're more confident, you're more stable, and you're a little bit lower to the ground, which I think makes a huge difference. Also, I wanted to talk about the downsides, but to be totally fair with you guys, I really don't think there are any. Besides for the one small fact that it makes it a little bit harder to get in and out of the car just because it's so low. If you can get over that, these seats are gonna be no problem for you. I've done 5 12-hour trips in this car. I go down to North Carolina pretty often to visit some friends from college, and I always take the car as opposed to flying, even if flying is the cheaper option. I love taking the E30. And even after 12 hours, 800 miles in one day, okay, sure, your back's gonna be a little bit sore, but that's kind of the case with any seat. I can't say it's more or less comfortable than really any other car I've taken on a long road trip. So comfortability-wise, practicality, usability, these things are just fine. The seating position is optimal, there's no need for adjustment front and back, and you can take these things on a road trip really no problem. And you really don't know how much of a difference these seats make until you get it onto a back road and you realize that you are just one with the car. I mean, you're throwing this thing right around corners and you're glued. Well, if you guys have made it this far, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I reply to every single comment, whether they are good, bad, or insulting, so keep that in mind. And also, just know, if you're looking to spend a couple grand on your car, which no one usually is, or you want a mod that is going to drastically transform the entire driving experience, then look no further. Because the Recaro Pole Position, I think, is one of the singular things you can do to your sports car that's going to make it feel unrecognizable. So you guys have a great day. Make sure you're driving your cars this summer. Get out every opportunity you can, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.